You know, since I was on vacation last week and out of town, that's the first week I've missed eating lunch at Newk's in, well, forever. When I'm in town, I'm at Newk's at least once a week, oftentimes more for lunch or dinner. 205 University Boulevard East in Tuscaloosa. It's Newk's Express Cafe. They're open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner, whether it's an oven-toasted sandwich or a California-style pizza or a hand-tossed salad. Everything's made with fresh ingredients and made right there in the kitchen. You go up to the counter, you order, you sit down, they give you a number, they bring your food out to you fast and fresh. They've got a beer and wine menu and a great dessert menu as well. Call for your catering needs, 758-2455. That's Newk's Express Cafe, 205 University Boulevard East, just up from the UA campus in Tuscaloosa. Well, tragedy struck the family of former Alabama defensive coordinator Joe Kynes on Monday when his daughter was killed in a morning car accident. Susan Kynes Langston, whose husband is an assistant football coach at Northridge High School, died on the scene after her Buick LaCrosse was hit head-on by a Ford Explorer that reportedly crossed the center line. She was only 43. The accident occurred shortly after 11 a.m. in the 5700 block of Northridge Road. Kynes' two grandsons were also in the car and were taken to DCH for treatment of the injuries. The other vehicle contained 5 people, 4 of whom, including the driver, 18 years old. The remaining passenger listed as a juvenile. All 5 also had to be taken to the hospital for injuries. The accident remains under investigation. Our thoughts and prayers, of course, go out to Joe Kynes and his family, his wife Ruby, their son-in-law. He was the defensive coordinator twice at Alabama under Mike Shula, and before that, Ray Perkins in the mid-'80s. When Shula was let go following the 2006 regular season, Kynes served as the interim head coach for the Tide in the Independence Bowl. He then worked 2 years at Texas A&M as the defensive coordinator before retiring after the last season. As I said, we send out our sympathy to Coach Kynes and his family. He is a great guy, beloved by every school and all its fans. Anywhere he's ever worked, they'll tell you Joe Kynes is a great guy. And again, our condolences to he and his family. We'll be back with your phone calls and emails right after this. Back here on Tider Insider TV for this episode on June 29, 2010, presented by Buffalo Rock. Sunkist is the beverage we're enjoying during the program this evening. Well, just 4 days after Mikel Torrance was surprisingly undrafted in the 2010 NBA draft, he agreed to a free agent contract with the Miami Heat. Torrance will get a chance to play for the Heat's Las Vegas Summer League team and have a good chance to make the roster for the upcoming season. Torrance believes teams were scared away by his athletic heart condition, a condition which is not that uncommon. It's when the heart is enlarged because of the heavy amounts of exercise and workouts. He disclosed this information to NBA teams prior to the Combine. He played with it last year at Alabama. It caused him no problems. Don't be surprised if Mikel Torrance winds up being a good player in the association. Well, there were some big-name sports celebrities in town last week golfing in the Arc of Tuscaloosa Golf Tournament. If you're not familiar with the Arc, they are an organization that helps people with disabilities achieve a higher quality of life. Former Alabama basketball coach and Kentucky Athletics Director Sam Newton was the event's honorary celebrity chairman. He was joined by Alabama's offensive coordinator Jim McElwain, defensive coordinator Kirby Smart, athletics director Mal Moore, former Florida State head coach Bobby Bowden, and Louisville basketball coach Rick Pitino, to name just a few. Now, we had a chance to catch up with Coach Pitino, and as it turns out, he actually had a hand in helping to bring Crimson Tide coach Anthony Grant to the capstone.
I was a little bit through a friend of mine, John McMahon, and through the great athletic director they have here. I was a little bit of a connector, connecting them up to see if Anthony would be interested. And I'm a big fan of Anthony Grant, big fan. He has all the great qualities that will make a terrific coach. He's a great teacher, outstanding recruiter, and the one characteristic not all coaches have, they get it when they're like me, they're old, is humility. And Anthony has great humility. So he's got grace under fire, he's humble, he's hardworking, he's an outstanding teacher of the game, and I'm a gigantic fan of Anthony Grant. If you ask me give me the top 3 young coaches in the game, he's in the top 3.
High praise. And the compliments for Alabama coaches didn't stop there. We also talked with Coach Bowden about his friend, Nick Saban. The former Florida State head coach says it's going to take a lot, of course, for Alabama to win another national championship back-to-back years. But he says with Saban at the helm, if the Tide gets the right breaks, he wouldn't bet against them. Coach.
This guy knows what he's doing, you know what? And if old Nick can get a little luck next year, now I think he's going to be good, But he knows, I know, we know, to win a national championship, you got to get a couple of breaks that you didn't count on. You know what? Now, that could happen to Alabama.
And that golf tournament was held at the beautiful North River Yacht Club. Well, time now to talk to you. Let's give you the phone number again because we've got some lines open. 205-348-9882, or you can email us if you'd like. We can still get that on the air as well. It's WVUATV.com. Okay, first up tonight, as he often is our buddy Trey in West Blockton. Trey, how you doing there, fella?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing well. Go ahead.
Really quickly, before the case and questions answered, I was going to clarify something about my questions and concerns last week about Fannin. It was based on quotes cited in a particular piece that my feelings were, and I just didn't want anybody, Rodney or anybody, to think I'm susceptible to being swayed by unsubstantiated conjecture. I just wanted to clear that up.
Okay,
but
good enough.
Aside from that, Casey Williams, I know it's kind of redundant. I've asked about him before, but I was just wondering, how are things going now?
Well, Trey, to be honest with you, I haven't heard much about Casey Williams lately. Of course, he is a fantastic wide receiver up there in the state of Washington, and we'll see what happens with Alabama at the wide receiver spot, and we're going to talk probably about some of those down the road. And again, I think it wouldn't be a surprise, even though Alabama has some committed. I think you could see some juggling amongst those that are committed, possibly Danny Woodson Jr. and maybe some others. So, again, it could get interesting as we progress along.
And that's interesting you say that. Basically, what you're saying is, even though there are several commitments in the receiving class for 2011, it may not be
well,
by any means.
Again, we'll have to see how it develops and progresses, but I wouldn't be surprised if one, maybe even two of the guys that are currently committed actually don't end up at Alabama.
Interesting. All right, let's go back to the phones and talk with BT. BT, how you doing, my friend?
I'm fine, Gary. How about you? Hey, Ronnie,
well.
how you doing?
Doing well, BT.
What I want to ask is, how you think the 9 starters on the new guys coming in are going to fare on defense? And my prayers and thoughts go out to Joe Kynes.
Thank you, BT. I'm sure the Kynes family appreciates that. And it's a good question because even though there's a lot of talent ready to step into those positions. And one guy, Dante Hightower's a proven starter already, but still, Ronnie, there are question marks when you lose as many good football players off of defense the way Alabama did last year, and you're going to have some other guys step up and play.
Well, again, athletically, Gary, I think Alabama's going to be fine as time goes along, but when you look at the experience, the chemistry that those other guys, you lost Rolando McClain, you lost Eric Andrews, who had been really performing well for 2 years. You lost Lorenzo Washington, Brandon Diedrich. Those guys have been around a while. Then you look in the secondary, you lost Javier Arenas. You lost your top 3 corners, Kareem Jackson, Marquise Johnson. That is a lot to lose and replace without missing a beat. Again, I think athletically, Alabama's going to be there, but I think it's going to take some time for them to develop and become the unit similar to what they had last year. Now, when you look up front, I think Alabama's pass rush will be better, so I think it'll probably help that secondary a little bit.
All right, BT, thanks. Let's talk real quickly with Ray and Hayden. Ray, go ahead. We're a little short on time, so make it snappy.
All right, is Milton Talbot still on the team, and have we lost anybody else this summer?
All right, Ray, officially, and I was gone last week, right? I don't think officially anything's been announced on Talbot, but there is some speculation that he might wind up taking a medical red shirt, but I guess as of right now, he's still officially on the team.
Well, and again, until there's something that's announced, we've heard before that guys were departing and then they ended up staying, right. So, we'd really rather wait until something's official.
All right, thanks, Ray, for the phone call. Right now, he's still a member of the team until we hear otherwise from the University of Alabama football program. We'll stick with that. Stay tuned, more of your phone calls and emails when we come back, and as we go to break, Alabama's football previews here on TITV begin next week. We'll break them down in 4-game increments like we do every year. You see the schedule breakdown there on your screen. Now remember, as we go through the season, we'll also go week to week. So what we pick preseason might not match up during the regular season. I think last year we both picked them 12-0, and they went 12-0. So that starts next week. It's always a popular segment, so we look forward to beginning that. Also on the way, right after this, more questions and emails, TITV. Stick around.